Hey guys, all right, so today I have a really good video. We are going to talk about the reticular activating system and really what's happening when you're changing your focus and why you start seeing things coming more into your reality once you change your focus. A lot of people don't understand psychologically and neuroscientifically like what happens with your mind and brain when you start affirming and thinking and focusing your mind on the new version of you and your new reality. So stay tuned. We are jumping into this. Hey everyone, my name is Kim Velez. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, love your support. If you're not new here, love your support as well. And I am a licensed mental health therapist. I have worked extensively with post-traumatic stress disorder, grief and loss, addiction, family systems. I mean, I really worked in the trenches of the trenches, helping people heal on massive levels for well over 10 years. Now, while I do not practice therapy any longer, I still am licensed. I will always keep my licensure. I moved into coaching so that I could help people on a different level. I wanted to move away from being limited to my state because as a licensed mental health therapist, I really could only work with people mostly in, the state of Florida. And I wanted to move out of the realm of dealing with heavy trauma and moving into how I can still help people transform, but not in dire situations like what I did previously as a therapist. So one of the things we're going to talk about today is, when we talk about birds before land, when we talk about creating your reality, when we talk about how when we start changing our, viewpoint and our mindset of what it is that we desire, we start affirming and visualizing whatever you're doing. Hopefully you're affirming because you got to change your mental diet so you can keep what you want. We start seeing these things show up in our reality. And in the spiritual community, we call them birds before land. But I'm going to talk to you about what it is in regards to the reticular activating system in your brain, because it's really the same thing, the power of your mind, but it's more like a psychological explanation of it. So before I dive into this, if you need additional support, I have lots of freebies below. I have a workbook on your self-concept that is free in love. I also have how to manifest your SP back, like the number one reason why you're not, because a lot of you struggle with that is below. It's a video training. And then I also have, for those of you that are starting your online business or are already in a business, working for yourself, online or brick and mortar, doesn't matter. I have an amazing video of top mindset blocks or mindset beliefs that are keeping you from getting what you want. So that is all free below. So check out the links. Okay, so let's talk about this. I'm going to read to you the definition. Now, it's not the scientific definition because the scientific definition is scientific words and I don't even understand it. So when I don't understand something, it doesn't stick in my mind. And when you understand something, right, it's about you understand in a way that makes sense to you. So I searched on the internet for an easier way of understanding this so it'll make sense to us all. So the reticular activating system is a bundle of nerves that sits in your brainstem, and its job is to regulate behavioral arousal, consciousness, and motivation. What that means is the reticular activating system is able to control what incoming information, stimulus, you're aware of, so that you'll be motivated to behave in a certain way. But what does that mean? It's a guard that sits between your brain and senses, sight, hearing, touch, etc., and filters what information gets through and what doesn't. Bet you didn't know that your brain is not processing everything that happens around you. So I talk about this so much, right? I talk about this so much on my channel. If you're new here, go binge watch all my YouTube videos and my TikToks, but really, to me, the YouTubes are better because they're more long form content and you really dive in deep into explanations than just a minute or a 3-minute video. But on my channel, I've been telling you guys for fucking years, because it's the truth, that how you see yourself determines the evidence and the stimulus in your reality of how you allow that like how you filter that in, the stories, the assumptions, your perceptions, your attitudes, and your beliefs. So when we have a shitty self-concept in love, when we have a shitty self-concept in money, when we have a shitty self-concept in anything that we're trying to manifest in, you won't sustain what you want to manifest in, because what happens with your reticular activating system is your belief about you. It filters in how you perceive the incoming information. So your brain will go and fixate and focus on the evidence to support your shitty self-concept. This is why a lot of you, especially when you're manifesting in your specific person, when your self-concept still sucks, you don't believe the good evidence that's coming in. In fact, the minute you don't get more of that evidence, you doubt it, you go back to your default setting, your default self-concept story of this is why it's not working out. When you are getting what you want, even if it's coming in consistently, you will doubt the sincerity of your specific person. You're still going to be waiting for that shoe to drop. And some of that is because it isn't normal for you to experience what you want, even though it's what you want. And so this is why you do more than visualization. This is why visualization is never enough. When you have deep beliefs about you and a story about you and your self-identity, which is your self-concept, which is, this is how I see myself. I don't see myself as keeping what I want. I don't see myself as good enough to actually be chosen, loved, and wanted. So when you have that story, what your reticular activating system is doing is it's filtering out the evidence that no longer supports the favorable story, and it fixates and hyper focuses on all the evidence in your reality to support you not getting what you want. And I have done this. I mean, when I had a shitty self-concept, even when my SP was conforming, I didn't trust it. But more importantly, my brain just didn't give a fuck. Like, even though I had all this evidence that showed that he was changing and conforming to my new story of him, because of how I saw myself, my brain, it's almost like it just moved it over. It didn't give a fuck, and it had to focus automatically on its own, whether I wanted it to or not, on the story of me not getting what I want. That was more powerful and dominant than what the fuck he was doing that was favorable. So I know this from personal experience, and now I know because I've changed my self-concept. All right, Masha had to join us. Now that I've changed my self-concept, I don't see my specific person as the same way anymore, and my brain only supports evidence in my reality and really hyper focuses on all the information coming through, that I'm always attaching meanings that I'm getting what I want, even when it's not showing up the way that I want it to. So that is the power of your mind. That's what the reticular activating system is it just fixates on evidence in your reality that supports your belief system, whichever one's more strong for you. So that could be favorable evidence and it can be unfavorable evidence. So what we want to do with this is really keep training our mind to see the different possibility, to become more comfortable thinking from the version of us that, no, I know I'm amazing and incredible in love. I know that I'm so valuable and chosen and wanted that, of course, SP knows this about me too. Especially, this is where the work is, when you're not getting the reflection of that in your 3D reality. And this is what people don't want to do. This is why a lot of you, I'm not saying you, my audience, they want to do this, which is why they're listening to me, because this is how you change your brain to long-lasting be thinking and being someone different and focusing and creating the reality of your dreams. This is why I don't care about manifesting a text. This is why I didn't even care about the goal of getting my specific person back, because honestly, you guys know how I feel. Like, there's a million other men on this fucking planet that would literally check off all the boxes for me of what I desire of a man in my romantic life, you know, internally and externally. And I know I can get whatever I want. So I never wanted to limit myself with a specific person. It was more about, I had the opportunity of this man because I was so awakened to my own fucking limiting beliefs that I was like, you know what, I'm going to let this person just be my mirror and keep showing me what my story is so I can just keep changing it and become this amazing version of me. I didn't give a fuck if I was getting it from him or not. All I cared about was what was going on with me, what was my beliefs about me in relation to him, and what was my beliefs about love and men and what I get to have in my life. And I just kept changing that until I reprogrammed it. Did he shift? Yes, of course. But it wasn't about him. It was never about him. It was always about me. And I still stand by that to this day, because this is what a lot of people don't get, is affirmations are the key. And it's not about saying them robotically. It's about you changing your thinking so you know a different truth for you as fact. You're claiming a new self-identity. You can't sustain a reality that you want when you manifest it in through visualization, because I've done this as well. If my dominant assumptions and beliefs in relation to that visualization of that area of my life that I'm manifesting in, I don't believe I'm good enough to have it. I don't know that I'm worthy. You can't keep it. You won't keep money. You won't keep the friendships. You won't keep the love life. You won't keep the type of relationship you want. You won't sustain your weight. When I used to be overweight, I used to be 50 pounds over fucking weight. I was very big. I'm 5'4" and I carry an extra 50 pounds. I went up like fucking 6 sizes. I would yo-yo diet. I would, do all these quick fixes. I did all these things, and I would work out really hard for like 8 months. I would lose all the weight, fucking look amazing. And then I would gain it all back because I would stop working out. Like, I kept doing these back and forth things. And you know what changed everything and why I've never had a weight issue? Even if I fluctuate 5 to 7 pounds, even 10, like, I'm not comfortable with that, but I'm still not obese. I still look fucking good. It's just not my comfortable default weight that I want to be for myself. And I've been this way for over 8 years now. And do you know what the key was? I had to change my self-concept. I literally changed my self-identity about who I was when it came for me. I wanted to exercise. It helped me with my anxiety because I used to have panic attacks. I get a lot of pleasure in working out. So I had to change my story of me. I had to start seeing myself as a fit, lean, strong woman, because that's what I wanted to be. That was my self-concept. You don't have to roll with that one. I'm just sharing my experience. And I had to identify with who the fuck she was, because I wasn't her. I was not her. And so I paid attention to my thinking, and I had to change my story and decide for myself that this is how I am. This is what I think. If I am a fit, lean, strong woman, what is my story about me when it comes to my body? What is my story about me when it comes to working out? What is my story about food? I mean, I changed everything. And that is how I fucking became that woman. And I still am her. And I still operate and think that way. And it's a belief about myself now, which is why I was able to sustain and maintain and never gain the weight again. So everything is fucking mindset. And to change your mindset is to change your story of you in relation to your desire and start thinking and identifying, well, if I were her, if I had this specific person madly in love with me and I'm getting everything I wanted, if I was happily fucking married, if I was a fucking multimillionaire, if I was, the fucking CEO of the company that I work for, if I was my own boss of my business, whatever, right? I mean, there's so many things we're creating all the time. If I were that version of myself, then what would my dominant thought patterns be? Who would I be? How would I be connecting to that? What would my stories be? What would my thoughts? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, they're not going to be the same old one of the old version of you. When I lost those 50 fucking pounds and changed my lifestyle and developed a new self-identity of who I was, this fit, lean, strong woman, I thought very differently. For me, it felt good to work out. For me, it was not about motivation. I'm not motivated 90% of the time to show up for my business now. I'm not motivated 90% of the time to go to the gym. It's a fucking discipline. It's because it's who I am. That is what I've decided. So it's my lifestyle. So it's the same thing with being a conscious creator. I'm creating the reality of my dreams. I understand that the reality of my dreams does not manifest in 24 hours. It means I'm changing my thinking and focusing on the reality of my dreams of all areas of my life, of deciding that I get to fucking have this. This is what I want. And then I pay attention to my thinking and I maintain the fucking mental diet that supports that over and over again until I start to believe it, until I start to accept it more and more as my truth. And that means when I'm triggered, that means days where my reality is not reflecting to me my new story. And my reticular activator, if I'm noticing it, focusing on evidence in my reality that support my old story, I correct it. And I keep correcting it until it starts focusing and changing, like focusing on the evidence that's favorable, and that becomes dominant for me. And then I see that I'm no longer triggered, or my triggers are, you know, I talk myself out of them very, very quickly, because I don't like to be that old version of me in many areas of my life. And sometimes it's not even this huge dramatic shift, and sometimes it's a huge dramatic overhaul of your fucking mindset of who you are in relation to what you want, i.e. self-concept, and also the story of what it is that you want. And sometimes, like I said, it's not a drastic one. Like every time I level up in my business, it isn't this huge overhaul I have to do, but there are beliefs and different versions of me that I connect to, because who I am right now, this second, and manifest in my current reality up to this moment is not going to be the woman that manifests the next level. I have to change my thinking and something, a belief, something, a focus, something, a perspective about what the next level is going to be for me and who I am in that next level. And so I do a lot of fun tips and tricks and how to become that version of me, and do techniques and different things to keep locking in and shifting into this new identity. And I talk to myself and I have these conversations regularly throughout the day, and then I become her, and then my reality just naturally falls into place, because now I'm this new version of me. So I kind of rambled there a little bit, but I'm so passionate about this, and I'm so tired of the misinformation out there, because there's so many people that really are teaching from their heart, but they just don't fucking get it. And that's okay. It is what it is. But I really wanted to share with you psychologically what the RAS is, reticular activating system is, but really what you're doing with the power of your mind by thinking new fucking thoughts. And yeah, you can visualize. Visualizing's fun, but you have to change your dominant assumption of who you are and what you want, because I personally have visualized in many experiences in my life to have my reality go right back to the same bullshit and me not sustaining it, because my beliefs when it came in triggered me so heavily, and I believed in more of my old self-concept and the old story of my SP and the old story of my reality and the old story of anything else, and it did not allow me to sustain it. I went back to the old reality where I didn't have what I wanted. So do both. Change your mental diet. It's fucking king. Even Neville says so, for those of you that are diehard Neville people. All right, love you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.